What does a writer's room schedule look like? A couple of days ago, I posted how it usually takes 5 weeks to turn a kernel of an idea into a shooting script. And then some of you were like, but that doesn't make sense. That would take 50 weeks to do 10 episodes of television. You couldn't possibly have that kind of time. Right. So we don't do episodes one after the other. We do this in parallel. So things are always happening all at once. So to make that work, we have a kind of a schedule that showrunners rely on. And if you would go into almost any writer's room in Hollywood, you'd see something like this. So this is a sample schedule that I mocked up. And you can see here we start with episodes. So there's episode 1. And the first step is it's broken, right? So that means the idea has already been broken and we assigned a writer to it. And in this case, the episode's called Mr. and Mrs. I just made this up, right? I made it up 10 minutes ago. And writer B is going to write that. And then the next step is called the book report phase. That's something that actually my partner and I do. And I'm going to devote a whole video just explaining this whole book report process because I think it's super important. So if you want to learn more about that, be sure to subscribe and follow me because that's a really important video. So after a writer turns in their book report, you can see writers F and E are working on their scripts, and then then outline. The next writer will turn the outline. So we go from the book report, we take it there, we put it in the outline column, and that's writer C is doing that. In the first draft, we got some guy down here is working on that, and some woman over here she's working on this script, and that's at the table draft, which is when all the writers kind of rewrite at the script, and then we finally move it to the shot column. So I liken all of this to air traffic control, and it's the showrunner's job to keep track of it. So I imagine each tile, each card, each episode is like a plane up in the air. And you have all these planes in the air and they're all running out of fuel and they got to come down to the ground, and the showrunner's job is to get them on the ground as fast as possible to get the next plane. Because if you take too long here, that plane's going to run out of gas and that one's going to crash and burn. And so it doesn't matter how fast you get this thing down. It may be uncomfortable, maybe awkward, maybe hard to watch, but you got to get them on the ground so that the next one can land safely. And obviously this is much lower stakes because these aren't real people. These are just episodes of television. But I'm blowing things out of proportion to be dramatic. So what happens then, I want to give you an example of what happens when you spend too much time. So years ago, I worked on a show and the showrunner was brand new. And he wanted to make things really great. He wanted that first episode to be fantastic because this was his his first shot, his first chance. And he spent all this time working on one episode, weeks and weeks, writing and rewriting at the expense of all the other planes in the air. And so that episode, we shot it and we did the table read and it worked out great. It was a good episode. But then the next week we had to do another one. And all those other episodes had been neglected. We hadn't put nearly enough time into crafting them. And all those table reads, it was one after the other. It was a series of disasters. That one was bad. That one was bad. They all needed a ton of work. And that showrunner wound up getting fired at the end of the year because he put too much time into that one episode. So part of the job of the showrunner is to keep those planes healthy, work on them enough, not too much, because you got to work on the next one. And so a lot of you are like, I want to be a showrunner when I grow up. I'm like, really? Do you know what a showrunner does? If you do want to know what a showrunner does, then follow me here because I got lots to teach you. And by the way, be sure to come back, follow and subscribe because I'm going to do a post about that book report thing. That's a phase, that's a step that kind of my partner and I don't know too many other showrunners that do that phase, but I think it's super important. I want to explain to you what that's about. So be sure to follow and subscribe. I got a lot more to tell you at Michael Jamin Writer.